Hi friends, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm so excited. Time is here to give you an update and share with you how our bulbs and our roots did. Remember we pre-sprouted these, was it January I think? Now it's April. So time for them to be planted in the ground, and it's such a beautiful day. The sun is finally out. So I'm gonna go ahead, I have my setup already over there, and share with you how they did. But before I share that with you, I'm gonna insert Eden Hearts. We're blooming inside the house. So I'm gonna insert that for you, then I'm gonna bring you right back outside with me and show you what they look like now. Okay, and I saw they look like this, and I'm like, wait, I can't believe it, it's blooming. My bleeding heart I pre-sprouted 4 weeks ago is blooming on my coffee table. Yes, this is my living room and I have all these set up here and it's blooming. I couldn't believe it. I'm still in shock. But look at this, it's beautiful. And I just have it in one of this container I reused that I got some lilies in, and I'm just speechless, friends. And look at this. Okay, join me with my excitement here. I've never pre-sprouted bleeding heart inside, and I was not expecting this. I thought it would just be foliage, and then when I take it outside it would bloom. But the white one is blooming now. Look at that. Look how beautiful this is, friends. Let me see if I could take it out the sunlight. But do you see why I use this area for these pre-sprouted plants? Because the sunlight is really bright. Here we are. Look at that. So healthy looking, and I'm just loving the blooms on here. All right friends, welcome to my backyard, my setup here. Friends, I'm so excited. It's been raining a lot here in PA, and finally we have a day without any rain. Yes, so I have my seeds hardening off, and I should be planting them very soon. And I'm gonna share with you the bare roots, and I just need to get this patio looking pretty. It looks like a hot pretty mess, but I just need to organize it. But anyways, I'm so grateful the sun is out and there's no rain today, so we have a lot of gardening to do today. Anyway, so let's start with this white bleeding heart. So you saw you saw how they look right inside the house. I'm like, oh my goodness, friends, those bare root, they did amazingly inside the house. I'm telling you, I've never seen a bleeding heart bloom inside. Anyway, so here we are. This one is the white bleeding heart. This one is the white bleeding heart. So friends, what I did, I brought them outside every now and then so that way they could adjust to the temperature outside, because remember they're foliage and I didn't want them to get stressed out from being grown inside the house. So they look droopy. That's because they need to be watered. I'm gonna plant them, and it's gonna rain tomorrow and the next day, so I'm not even gonna water them today, so they'll get the rainwater tomorrow. But I need to get them in the ground so that way they can get their roots established outside, because they are ready. So here we have the white bleeding heart. So this one I think was from Walmart, so I got 2 of these. You know how much I love my bleeding heart. And then I'll share with you what I have in the garden over there. It's already coming up, and these I'm gonna put in the shade garden. I think I have a spot for them. So that's the one, and then here's the other one. There were 2 of them. Look at this tiny one. Yes, and look at me getting all creative. I use a milk jug, green tea jug, and put it in there. But they are ready. And I have a bird friend behind me taking a bath in the fish pond. I love seeing that. So that's the white bleeding heart. And then friends, here's the pink one. Oh my goodness. So this is 2 in here. I combined the 2 in this pot. So this is what they're looking like. And I think I will get more blooms on here. You can see some new growth coming from the point. I know they bloomed inside already, but there's new growth coming out. So once they're in the ground, I think they will take off and give more blooms. So this one is the pink Dicentra. Beautiful. Just look at those blooms. I just love bleeding hearts. And I ordered one from Easy to Grow, and it's the bleeding heart, but it's kind of red pink. But what I love about the description, it said it will bloom not just spring, but it blooms in summer also. So I'm waiting for them to send it to me, because with these they do bloom late spring to early summer. But I think the one on their website, it made it sound like they'd be blooming like really in late summer. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. So when it gets hot with these friends, they're great spring plants for you to have in your garden. Beautiful. Are they a shrub? Not sure if they're a shrub, but they're a nice plant. They get like 3 feet tall and wide. They're amazing for that. And what happened is when it get hot, they would just stop blooming and then the foliage would start to turn, I would say, like, it stays green for a while. And I know last year the white one I had, I could see was kind of trying to give me more blooms later in the summer. It gave me some tiny little blooms, and then eventually it just dies back. I'm telling you, if you don't have a bleeding heart, I strongly recommend getting one. If you can't find a good bare root now, or if you can, just plant it so the roots can establish. But if you're looking for a plant to put in your garden and give you those beautiful spring colors, Home Depot, Lowe's and Home Depot, they both have bleeding heart already in the pot, maybe like a 2-gallon. So check them out if you're looking for this, if you don't want to wait to do the bare root. So these are our bleeding heart. So we have 3 of them. All right, friends, and here's the blue sea holly. Yes, it's dehydrated, that's why it looks droopy like that, but it's fine. So here it is. So that's the 2 of them. Look how they did really well, right? And I noticed I had to kind of do a staking. Outside you don't have to, but I think it's because it's just inside and it's not getting the right light in it. Should it was doing a little drooping over, but as I said, I need to water it and it will bounce right back. I did these last year and I'm telling you, I was so excited, and I'm gonna take you around and show you those I did last year so you can see what they look like. And I got blooms from these. Yes, they bloomed the current year when I planted them. Love them so much. So that's why I decided to get more. So there's 3 here. They did very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant these out also today. And once again, they need to get in the ground. They've been in the house since January. So that's our blue sea holly. Alrighty, friends, here we have the Peruvian daffodil. It's men. I hope I pronounced that correctly. We have 2 in here, friends. Oh my goodness, I bought 2 packs of these. These were amazing. Okay, they took off a long time. There's no blooms from them, but let me take you over here. See if I could step over here. Let me take you over and show you where they are. They did really well. All right, friends, here they are. These ones, I don't know, this one just went crazy, and then this one is still looking good. So these are hardy from zone 7 to 10, I think. And they bloom early to midsummer, and they prefer full sun to partial shade. So I'm really excited about these, and I even got more to go in my moonflower garden. I think I'm gonna probably give this one to my girlfriend. We'll see. But they're doing well. I just can't wait to see the blooms. But this is how they start to grow, like, right? Look at that. I'm telling you, I just can't wait to see the blooms on these babies. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, friends, up next I have this dahlia I picked up from Walmart. I couldn't help myself. I just love the colors in here. So pretty. 2 came in the pack here. I'm so excited about this one. The other one I didn't see any growth coming from it, but it's okay. I think it will. But at least I have this one going on here. So I'll plant these out when the temperature is consistently maybe 60 degrees or so. I'll put them in the ground. Or maybe I'll do that later on when I have time. They could wait after I have more stuff I need to get in the ground before I do it, the dahlia. I think I will enjoy this one because I just love the colors, and it will get 36 to 40 inches tall. So this will be going in my cut flower garden area. So that's our dahlia. All right, friends, next we have these beautiful Queen Charlotte cannas, 3 in the pack. Friends, I got 2 of these. I should have 6 here. Oh my goodness, look at that bee. It's trying to get in the hyacinth. Oh, please don't sting me. Do you see it right there? What a beautiful moment to capture. I just love my pollinator friends. They're out and they're getting their nectar where they need to. Anyway, so sorry about that. So here's the canna. So I got 6 of them. So I put them in here and they're doing okay. Look at that, friends. Amazing. They look so good. Yes, they do. Yes. And remember, the point of this was just to keep the plants alive until we can actually get them in the ground, right? That was just the point of them. So once they're planted in the ground or in the pots and they're outside, they will definitely bounce up and they will do what they need to do. At least you don't have them dying out in the bag and you're wasting your money, right? Alrighty, let's see what else we have next. Alrighty, friends, and on this end we have the ranunculus. Yes, remember I did a video and I shared with you how I do ranunculus. So now is the perfect time for me to plant them out. And with these, I do not need to harden them off because they like the cooler weather. But let me show you what they look like. Yes, friends, so batch should be all pink. And the other batch should be, I think it's a mix of different colors. But look at these babies. They are ready to be planted in the garden. Friends, I must tell you, I'm in zone 7A. And ranunculus, I think, is hardy from zones 8 and up, friends. Those in the garden, they came back. I'm so excited. So now I know I don't have to treat these like annuals. I'll be treating them as perennials, plant them in the ground, and they will come back for me. 6B, 7A I have here. So these are the ranunculus. All right, friends, and I had to include this. It's been what? Is it 1 week? I just shared this with you with the free bulbs I got that was sent to me and they didn't belong to me, and I had them pre-sprouting. So I'm gonna put them in the garden. So let me turn this around and show you. Look at the milkweed. Yes, friends, can you imagine that? This was just last week. Look at the milkweed. And then we have the black-eyed Susan here. Nothing really much going on with her. And then we have the columbine. I'm very excited about the columbine. And then we have the kitnu around. Did I say that correctly? I'm always mixing up words. Anyway, so here it is. So I'm gonna put these in the ground also. Alrighty, friends, and then here we have the gladiolus. These were from Ollie's Bargain Center. Look at them. Remember when I shared with you how to pre-sprout them? Just look at them, friends. And what I found really amazing, they grew straight, right? They weren't trying to get the light and they were inside, but I love how they just grew straight up like that. So you guys are gonna go in the ground today. Look at that. They are ready to go in the ground. All right, friends, and then let me take you around and show you those. I promised to show you what they look like from last year. All right, friends, so here's the blue sea holly. We did these together from Bare Roots last year, and I even share with you how they did, and I did a video just on them. But this is what they're looking like in their second year, and I'm supposed to come in and cut off the dead stalk here, but I'm leaving it on here for a purpose. But this is what it looks like. I'm gonna come and prune off just the dead stem there. And friends, I even did these from seeds too. Yes, I came out and I took some seeds from here, and they're already germinating. I'm gonna give them to my neighbor up the street. And over here, here's the other one. This is what it looks like. All right, friends, so I'm gonna go ahead and plant these in the ground, and I'll definitely give you an update as the season progresses so we can see what they're looking like. I'm really excited to start gardening because the weather is so beautiful. I was just inside waiting to just come out here. Okay, it was just raining non-stop. And here's one of my bleeding heart I did a few years ago. I love this so much. Just look at this, friends. I strongly recommend a bleeding heart in your garden. This is gonna get like 3 feet tall and wide, and it's gonna cascade beautifully in this spot here. I'm sure you guys probably saw it last year if you've been watching my videos from the previous years. And then it looks so pretty. All right, friends, I have my work cut out for me. I'm gonna go ahead now and get all those bare roots in the ground. Just look at the patio. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful day. I'm not complaining. And then I can't wait to share with you my spring bulbs. Look at my tulips. Remember we did these together, friends? Look at them. Can't wait to share all of this with you, friends. All right, friends, I'll see you in the next one now. Cheers.